The city of Edinburgh, with its jagged skyline and deep-rooted literary traditions, provided a majestic stage for Queen Camilla's recent visit to the National Library of Scotland. This visit was framed by the monumental occasion of the library's centenary, marking 100 years since it was formally established as a national institution in 1925. The Queen's arrival was not merely a matter of royal protocol, but a deep dive into the archives of British history and the living, breathing future of Scottish literacy. As she walked through the doors of the library, the Queen was met with a narrative that stretched back through the decades, from the early financial struggles to secure the building to the critical role the library played during the Second World War. The atmosphere was one of profound respect for the written word, an ethos that the Queen has championed throughout her public life as a dedicated patron of various literary organizations. The historical weight of the venue was balanced by the vibrant and chaotic energy of the present, embodied by the young pupils of Granton Primary School. These children, representing the future of Scotland's intellectual heritage, were given a rare opportunity to engage with the Queen in an environment that prioritized creativity over ceremony. The Queen's interaction with these students was characterized by a genuine, maternal warmth that has become her trademark. She spoke to them not as a distant monarch, but as a fellow lover of stories, emphasizing that every great narrative begins with a singular, tiny idea. Her message was clear: literacy is not a passive act of consumption, but an active journey of the imagination. She poignantly noted that reading to someone else counts double, highlighting the social and communal power of books to bridge gaps between generations and backgrounds. As the engagement moved into the artistic workshop, the Queen demonstrated her willingness to step outside the rigid boundaries of royal expectation. The focus turned to the legendary world of the Beano, specifically the character of Dennis the Menace and his faithful canine companion, Gnasher. Since 1951, these characters have been pillars of British pop culture, and seeing the Queen pick up a pencil to attempt a sketch of the spiky-haired dog was a moment of delightful levity. She engaged with the artistic process with a sense of humor, laughing at her own sketches and encouraging the children to find their own creative voices. This session was a masterclass in modern royal engagement, showing a monarchy that is accessible, self-deprecating, and deeply invested in the cultural touchstones that unite the British public across all ages. The discussion then pivoted toward the technical side of the library's operations. The Queen was shown letters from 1939 and 1956, documenting the institution's resilience and its commitment to remaining an open resource for the public. She learned about the significant financial contributions that allowed the library to expand and the visionary individuals who ensured that the treasures of the past were preserved for the scholars of the future. The Queen's interest in these archives was palpable. She listened intently to descriptions of how the library supports school settings and works in tandem with government agencies like Education Scotland. This part of the visit underscored the library's role as more than just a warehouse for books, but as a vital engine for national education and social mobility. In the realm of fashion, Queen Camilla's attire for the day was a sophisticated study in tonal harmony and functional elegance. She chose a tailored coat dress in a rich, midnight navy hue, a color that is frequently associated with trust, authority, and the deep blue of the Scottish saltire. The silhouette was classic Camilla, a structured shoulder, a slightly flared skirt that allowed for ease of movement, and a sharp, notched collar that framed her face beautifully. The choice of navy was a strategic one, as it allowed her to stand out against the warm, wooden interiors of the library and the colorful artwork of the children, without appearing overly flamboyant. The garment's construction spoke of high-end British tailoring, likely crafted from a fine wool crepe that held its shape perfectly throughout the afternoon's various activities. The Queen's accessories were a thoughtful blend of personal significance and royal tradition. Around her neck, she wore a 4-strand pearl choker with a prominent diamond clasp, a piece that has become one of her most recognizable style signatures. Pearls are a staple of royal wardrobes, symbolizing purity and timelessness, but the way Camilla wears them feels contemporary and confident. On her lapel, she pinned a small, sparkling brooch that caught the light as she leaned over the children's drawings. Her jewelry choices were balanced by her practical, yet polished footwear, a pair of block-heeled pumps that provided the necessary support for a day spent walking through gallery halls and standing in workshops. Her signature blonde hair was styled in its usual voluminous flicked bob, a look that provides a consistent and recognizable image for the public. Beyond the physical garments, the Queen's fashion also communicated a sense of approachability. By choosing a style that is consistent and avoiding radical trends, she creates a visual stability that mirrors her role within the monarchy. The lack of excessive ornamentation during this specific visit was a sign of respect for the venue and the nature of the event. It was a day for the library and the children, and her clothing reflected that humility. Even her handbag, a structured top-handle design in matching navy leather, was tucked away during the drawing session, showing that she was more concerned with the task at hand than with maintaining a perfect editorial pose. This pragmatic approach to fashion is what makes her style so effective. It supports her work rather than distracting from it. The visit concluded with a sense of mutual appreciation between the Queen and the city of Edinburgh. The centenary of the National Library of Scotland was more than a birthday for a building. It was a celebration of a century of Scottish intellect and the continued relevance of the printed word in a digital age. The Queen's participation in the Funniest Dennis the Menace Story Ever project with the Granton primary pupils will likely be a core memory for those children, reinforcing the idea that the monarchy is an institution that values their voices and their creativity. As she departed, the image left behind was one of a queen who is comfortable in the halls of history and the classrooms of today, a woman who understands that her influence is best used when it is paired with a pencil and a shared story. The enduring legacy of this visit lies in the intersection of tradition and modernity. Through her clothing, her conversation, and her willingness to engage in the simple act of drawing, Queen Camilla bridged the gap between the formal history of a 100-year-old library and the informal, chaotic joy of childhood. Her fashion served as a silent but powerful narrative of grace, while her actions spoke of a deep-seated commitment to the cultural and educational health of the nation. In the years to come, as the National Library continues its second century of service, this visit will be remembered as a moment when the Crown and the community came together over a shared love of art, history, and the simple magic of a well-told tale.